Farajii.
Come on, man. What's that?
We so thankful you here, man. We in
Doctor. Can we call you doctor?
Oh man, everybody be trying to hit me with the doctor. I'm about to take
Come
that
on,
off.
doctor. You know, older men say that.
I'm about to take that
Pastor.
off. Right. Take that, all of that. It's gonna come out, all of that. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Oh man, it's always good to be with you. You know what? You bring a savoir faire.
Oh yeah.
And an energy that's undeniable. You know, we in the heart of the city right now.
Yeah, bro.
In West Baltimore.
Yeah.
Where the kids and the families, you know, need folks like you the most. You know, they need that voice that you bring every day now. Every day. For the culture. WEAA 88.9.
Doing real big.
What are we, 5 to 7?
5 to 7, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
I'm on Facebook Live.
My.
I'm on WEAA.org.
Listen, it's a special situation what you're doing. And so I know that you are also not just a media guy, not just a loving husband and father, but also in the core of you, who you are, you're an artist. And you know what we're doing. Tell me a little bit about just your matriculation in life with your exposure and introduction to the arts, man.
Brother, you know, I mean, when you think about the arts, like I had to sit back and really reflect on how much the arts have played a role in my life. But of course, you know, growing up in Baltimore City, you get some exposure. You know, I grew up in Northeast Baltimore near Morgan State University. So, you know, having the opportunity to go to school plays and everything, I was like, all right, this is cool. Elementary school, I'm like, all right, this is cool. You know, not really. Middle school is something starting to happen, right? But I was always a lover of movies. And not just the artistry in movies, but more importantly, the science behind making films. And so that always captivated me. So I was just thinking like, all right, cool. And then, you know, I had a couple of things I did in middle school, little plays here, little things there. And I was like, all right, this seems like it was pretty cool. But then the opportunity came while I was in middle school to go to School for the Arts, Baltimore School for the Arts, BSA.
BSA, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so coming out of Chicopin, which is no longer around anymore, but coming out of Chicopin, it was something that it's kind of unheard of in my school. I think there was only one other student that tried to go into BSA. And so
Chicopin used to have a lot of I remember going to a play.
We had tons of plays, man.
You know, when I was in third grade, I went. Miss Solomon took me to a play.
Bruh.
At Chicopin.
I mean, Chicopin had like a wall of, you know, the plays, you know, and that's like when you walked in there, you almost, as a child, you know, you're like, man, I'm walking into greatness in the auditorium. But once you, you know, when there was the opportunity to to go to the Baltimore School for the Arts, first, I never even heard of the school.
Wow.
My first choice, I think it was like City, Poly, and Mervo.
Me too.
You know what I mean? So somebody was like, no, you should try for Baltimore School for the Arts. And I was like, and then my father started looking more into it, and I started to see like, okay, there is actually a place that's dedicated for it. But you know, Baltimore School for the Arts, for Black children, back then was like worlds away. You know, it was just a whole different culture. And so, you know, I finally was telling my dad, I was like, well, you know, I really want to try this. Let's see if we can do it. And then, you know, when I told my friends, like, yeah, I'm thinking about going to Baltimore School for the Arts, it was like, where? What is this? Right. Like, you about to make fun of me and stuff. And I was like, no, this is an art school and it's downtown. Then now you in a whole different space. You like, totally. You downtown.
Totally.
You know, different. I got to take a bus down there. Whoa, wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So then I remember going to the school and going to my audition. And brother, there were so many young people. There were so many students. It was like they had to sit down. Like when you go into the school, they had like this big, it looked like something out of a movie, this big marble like staircase. And you're just like, where does this thing go? You know?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'm sitting down there and it's like hundreds of us. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not getting in. I'm not getting into this. This was Farajii, it was a good ride, but this is not happening.
It stops here.
So then I walk into the room, and then the teachers and everybody's sitting, and I mean, I'm thinking to myself, this is really an audition. And right then and there, brother, I was blessed I didn't think I did that well, But then, they got the call back, and then I did it again. And so I walked away. I was a little bit like, man, I don't think I brought my best game.
Yeah. And this was theater?
This was theater.
Okay.
And so then I'll never forget, on this bright sunny day, I came home from school. It was like during the summertime, like last week of school. My father was like, "Here, you got something from the School for the Arts." I was like, "Oh man, I don't know about this, Pop." He was like, "Well, I guess we're gonna go to Poly or City or something." And then I opened it up, and it was like this little thin piece of paper. It wasn't even like a lot of paper. It was like, "You are accepted." Brother, when I say, let me tell you, I went out I ran out the house literally, and I stood on the porch. It was bright and sunny. I was like, and I just kept looking at it. And all I kept thinking to myself then was, my life will not be like anybody else's life. Wow. I already knew that from I was like, if the chances of me getting into the school, and they were high, expectations, hundreds have been like rejected. Yeah. But the chances of me getting, I said, you know what? This is something special here. Yeah. And I told my pops, and I don't think at the time he really understood the context of the gravity of the situation. Right. And then, I knew right then and there. I was like, I'm in the Baltimore School for the Arts. Oh yeah, I'm
the opportunity, because it's the opportunity, right? And so the arts. Think about it this way. It's funny that you say that. Tell that story. You're making me reflect on my acceptance process. But really, what you're making me remember is the reason why we started LTYC is because I remember so many people that were in my community, in my family, at my church, the kids I played ball with, and even as we talked earlier at Twigs, who didn't get in. Right. So all I could think about was that I knew so many talented people in Baltimore, kids who had no access to arts in elementary or middle school, and that I wanted to be a part of something that allowed folks that couldn't get in BSA to still be exposed to the arts. And so tell me about your thoughts on just arts education as a whole, like, as a leader that you are in the community, as an artist, as a, trained actor and thespian, and now as a parent, what's important to you about young people getting access to the arts, man?
I mean, let me tell you how important it is, bro. And I think you can agree with this. It's one thing to teach a child reading, writing, arithmetic, science, but if you don't teach a child art, music, culture, the child is still imbalanced. Art and music, they bring a balance to this is children now, right? To a child's mind. I have a son who's 6 years old. I expose him to music as much as I want him to think he's an engineer. I already told him, like, you're an engineer, you're an architect, right? But he has a musical ear. He listens to music. And I try to expose him to different types of music, from jazz to new age to hip hop and all of that.
Keep him real eclectic.
Right? But you got to give young people, you got to give children both in order for them to become balanced individuals. And I think that's the problem when you're talking about education, right? I mean, education is slowly evolving into a space where they're really starting to tap into the balance of a human being. Because for so long, it was like you just had to know your science and your math and your English. But now, you need art. Yeah. Because people are so much more creative. Children today, they need an outlet. Yeah. And I couldn't imagine being in a space where I didn't have that outlet. By us going to school for the arts, we were encouraged to be ourselves.
100%.
And the whole idea of being a young Black man from Baltimore, for those few hours that we were there, we didn't feel that burden. All we knew was that you're an actor, I'm an actor, you're an artist, I'm an artist, all that other stuff, the weight of the world was kept outside of those doors for a long time. Sure. Right? So it wasn't, it's like if you brought your A game on stage, and I brought my A game on stage, guess what, man? Nobody couldn't tell me anything. I remember being in the 11th grade, and I did this show, and for some of the top donors of the school. I didn't know who they really were. But I
they
remember
they check writers.
Right.
You need them in like, you need some
you
check
know what I'm saying?
writers.
You need some check writers.
Right.
And one of the things that they did was I performed Marvin Gaye's What's Going On with no music as a monologue. And I did that piece. And I put my heart into that piece. And I walked off the stage. And I never forget Donald Hicken came behind backstage.
Donald Hicken.
You know, the great Donald Hicken. He said, Farajii, what you did back there on that stage was absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm in 11th grade. And then when I came back, when that program let out, people were approaching me and were saying, their view of what we as Black men can bring to the conversation. I know it was changed.
Yeah.
I know it was changed.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about arts, when you're talking about education, you got to give children the option.
I love what you're saying, man.
You got to give them a chance. Then let them choose.
Yeah, I love options.
Then let them choose what path they want to take.
Yeah.
But when you start to, you think about the beauty and the creativity and the energy that a child naturally has, and then you don't give them an option to be, we cut ourselves short.
And you're talking about building confidence, it sounds like. You're talking about building the self-worth.
Yeah.
You're talking about building in young people the arts and education combined are a modality for social change, for young people's creativity, their outlet, creative thinkers, independent thinkers. So, it's really important to us, and it sounds like it's important to you as well, that in the community, we ensure that every time we interact with young people in any modality, whether it's schools, community centers, churches, other services, YMCAs, that there are arts options for young people so that they can continue to, grow their intellect, but also grow their social and emotional learning as well.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. And so, tell me just as we're closing out, tell me just what your viewpoint is currently with Baltimore City specifically, and where we could start to fill in some gaps as it relates to young people in our lovely city having the arts in their academic days.
Bro, if we bring arts, and really have an art revolution in this city.
Which is about to happen.
Yes, and I'm saying on a very fundamental
You're a part of it, a great artist.
Bro, like you, my man, of course, Easy
Jackson.
You got brothers and sisters in this city that if we continue to push for this revolution to take place, we don't have to have an emphasis on violence. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to talk about, we're going to stop crime. The conversation changes, the tone changes to now we're going to invest more into this art and education. And let me tell you how big it is very quickly. My wife is reading a book about a woman who wrote about her mother's experience growing up in Palestine and the struggle of women in Palestine, right? How her mother had undergone domestic violence and all of this type of abuse. And my wife is blown away. She was just thinking like, wow, this is happening in Palestine. That's how powerful the written word, that's how powerful arts and that's how powerful culture can be when you integrate creativity. You can bring people from two different sides of the world into the same space.
Yeah.
So if we can do that from Baltimore to Palestine, we can't do that from West Baltimore to East Baltimore?
Yeah. Don't forget about the forgotten part of Baltimore is that I call it the city across the water. The Westport, Cherry Hill, Patapsco, Curtis Bay. This whole city is deeply rooted in some beautiful things, man. And we can really be at the cutting edge of starting a movement that empowers young people to be the best versions of themselves by giving them and providing them with opportunities, man.
You know what, very quickly, the thing is we need to institutionalize art programs like the work that LTYC is doing. Has to be institutionalized. Looking at that model and say, okay, how do we continue to build on it? We have to make sure that we support local artists in a way. I know that we're talking about, the development of the Arts and Culture District here in the city of Baltimore.
Right.
That has to be a priority for the next incoming mayor.
Yeah.
The next person that's in charge needs to make sure that happens.
And Lady Breon is leading
right. That's what I'm saying.
Black Arts District revitalization.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because in 20 years, when my children and my son and my daughter get to that age, I want them to be like, yeah, your dad was helpful in institutionalizing art. And we can't say, oh, well, you know, it is what it is, or this is just art, blah, blah, blah. We need to get more violence. We need to get more guns off the street. No, man, you got to touch the human soul in order for us to change the condition of death into a place of life in the city. But that has to be soul work. That can't just be, well, politics. It's got to be soul work, because the impact that art has had on you and it has on me, that's soul work, bro.
Soul.
For 4 years when we were in that institution, they were working on our thinking and how we solve the world. So we will never, we live in Baltimore, but we're not confined by Baltimore because of our art and education program.
That's a magic moment right there.
There it is. There it is.
I love it, man. Thanks for coming with us. Do you sing?
No,
you sing publicly in the shower.
I don't sing.
You rap? You rap publicly or in the shower?
I do it publicly.
Okay. So give us your best rendition of Mary Had a Little Lamb.
All right, my best rendition of Mary Had a Little Lamb. I thought this was gonna be rapid fire, like Family Feud style. No, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. I say, yo, Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow.
Yeah. If you could choose between sculpture and paint, what would you do?
Sculpture and paint. Sculpture.
Okay. Yeah.
Sculpture.
Yeah. One of the things I
like to get my hands dirty.
Yeah. I like to ask folks this all the time. Who's your favorite musical artist of all time?
Damn.
I know.
Jay-Z, man.
Jay-Z? Somebody else said Jay-Z earlier.
Jay-Z.
Yeah, Jay-Z.
I really like that dude.
What's your favorite album?
I think it's hard on. I like a lot of his, but the album that got my whistle wet was the Fugees' The Score.
Ooh,
remember that?
Yeah, of course. One of my favorite. How many mics do we rip on a day?
I fell in love with Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Lauryn Hill. That's
matter of fact, with the camera, Lauren, where are you? We need you to, like, what are you doing right now? We about to put, listen, I need an album this year. 2020, we need a Lauryn Hill album. Farajii and Dermell said we need a Lauryn Hill album, and we can find Lauryn Hill, anybody. Look, both cameras.
The Score.
All like.
The Score did it for me.
Wow. Yeah.
The Score, like.
I know that album backwards and forwards.
Right, bro. We know we were buying CDs back in the day.
100%.
Let me tell you
I'm
another
about to try
one.
to sell my CDs back to Soundgarden too.
I went to Sam Goody.
Oh, okay.
You remember the Sam Goody joint?
Of course.
No, but another one, then I got exposed to Goody Mob's, their first album. Soul Food.
A precious one.
Man, I mean, these were albums that like shaped my whole context. Yeah. Goody Mob and then Outkast. Once I got into that space, I was like, man.
That whole Dungeon family.
That whole Dungeon.
Yeah.
Cool Breeze.
Oh, man.
All them cats, man. Like those dudes. And I love their cadence and their style. But one of the things about The Score was that it was like they were talking a different language to me. You know what I mean? Now I look back, I'm like, oh, I can rap like that. That's pretty easy. Yeah. But back then, it was like, and don't even, when you think about like a Wu-Tang Clan and stuff, they were talking a different language.
Yeah, that's Easy Group right there. That's his favorite rap group.
Oh, for real, Wu-Tang?
Yeah, because I'm, for me, and that's
which one would Easy be though? Is he Raekwon?
Easy probably would be. Easy ain't Ray. Easy's more. Easy's
like
he's Ghostface.
He Ghostface?
Yeah, he's go. He. Oh yeah, hilarious. He is Inspector Deck with Old Dirty Tendencies, but he got the gloss of Method Man because he's got all of that. Yeah.
He got the skill. I would say. I don't know why he don't say Raekwon though.
Raekwon the chef.
I think you like a Raekwon.
The storytelling of Raekwon is special.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But he got the swag. He got the confidence of an Inspector Deck. He got that. You know we.
Friday night after like 10 or 11, it's Old Dirty.
Oh, right.
And see, I jumped in music very late, bro. I jumped in music very late. Like I listened to Easy, I listened to Mike Eve, and I listened to a lot of local cats.
Yeah.
I jumped in music very, very late. And so people were kind of like, trying not to laugh at me. They're like, oh, Farajii rap. Okay, Farajii. You know what I mean? Okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I put out, for me, you talk about confidence, that was confidence for me because it was always in me. But I was like, I need to get this out. But then I really had a conversation with B-Fly and others, and that was like, nah, man, if you got something to say, say it.
And that's powerful right there.
Just say it.
And that's what we got to get into the hearts of these kids.
Yeah, bro.
We want them to be structurally sound in a place where they can, if they have something to say, they say it.
That's it. And it don't matter on age. It doesn't matter where you come from.
Yeah.
If you have something to say, and if you have a message with your music, then it's always going to resonate with somebody.
100%. So just to go with the energy, if that's okay with our crew, I want to get this on camera on the energy. We got Mr. Jackson in the building. I'm going right in on my top 5 rap groups of all time. 5. Okay. So I'm going Tribe Called Quest.
I can see that.
My second rap group of all time is Fugees.
Yeah.
I'm going Wu-Tang.
Okay.
I'm going oh shit. I'm going what's my people's name? The Roots. Would the Roots are considered?
Oh my God.
Or would the Roots be my 6th man?
I think Roots feel like my 6th man.
And then I gotta put Run DMC in there.
So what about Talib and Mos Def? Can we put
Are they a group or a duo? Because if they're a duo, then I'm going Eric B. Rakim, I'm going EPMD.
Okay.
I'm gonna do them as
I got Fugees.
Okay.
I got Outkast.
You gonna call them a group or a duo? Are they a group
Man,
or a
they
duo?
bring so much to the game.
They're a duo.
They're a duo. That's true. I mean, they are just 2 people.
Yeah. Right.
But and let me see. I'm talking about. I love Wu-Tang.
Of course.
You got to throw them in there.
Yeah.
Man, rap group.
That's what I'm saying. I always ask people this, and it's the group duo. It's tough to. Let's go, Jackson. Who's your top 5 groups? Rap groups.
Roots is my number 1.
Interesting.
State Property.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Philly boys.
Easy Jackson, State Property.
See, that's why I fuck with Easy Jackson. Because he gonna always bring out something.
I'm gonna bring a lyricist in.
Yeah.
I do like it.
And what else?
West Coast right now.
Oh, I'm going. Since he said West Coast NWA.
Oh yeah.
They were a group, but they're all solo artists now. Black Kendrick.
Mm-hmm. Yes, 100%.
I think they're like.
Yes.
If you check out any of that Black Kendrick stuff.
Of course, yeah.
Amazing.
I forgot all about them, but you're right. And I'm gonna throw because you went West Coast. I'm going retro with NWA in my top.
Yeah.
Ooh, get up with
Not
the
so much because of the content as much as
The impact.
the culture.
Yeah.
They started a movement like we started in Baltimore. They started in Miami. Yeah. This was great, man. It's great having you.
Bro, thank you, man.
Much love.
Hey, thank you. Keep up the great work,
Thank
man.
you.